everyone, and welcome back to the Joy-Filled Universe podcast. I am your host, Lisa Ryan, and today I am going to be sharing some insight with all of you that truly brought me some real peace while I was in the early phases of my journey towards law of attraction, law of vibration, and manifesting desires into my reality. And if you can believe it, this insight, it's all about negative thoughts. Negative thoughts. Have you ever wondered if thoughts that have doubt and fear within them are messing up your mindset work? Like you've been thinking positively, visualizing, manifesting, staying intentional, and then doubt creeps in, or fear starts to whisper, anxiety starts building, and then suddenly it feels like you've taken giant steps backwards. And then maybe you've even wondered, are my negative thoughts messing up my manifestations? Or am I sabotaging everything I've been working so hard to create? And if any of this happens to resonate with you, well, then I just want to say this. Take a deep breath right now, because we are all human and we are certainly not flawed in any way when it comes to negative thinking. And spoiler alert, negative thoughts will never be our undoing, just so long as we are aware and apply them in ways that serve our highest good. And now, I personally loathe how it feels when negative thoughts show up. Ugh, that sinking feeling in our stomachs, that heaviness in our chest, that fear that we have somehow deconstructed all of our good work and now have to start all over again. And quite honestly, no one deserves to feel this way, which is absolutely why I'm doing this episode, because today we are going to talk about why negative thoughts exist, why they feel so powerful, and why they seem to attract energy so quickly. Also, why negative emotions often feel stronger than positive emotions, and how negative feelings impact us and the people around us. And then most importantly, how to shift the negativity through awareness, gratitude, and release so that we can stay aligned with a high vibe life that attracts abundance, peace, clarity, and joy. So, all right, we have got a lot to cover here. So let's get started with the fact that negative thoughts are not a sign of failure. They are absolutely not proof that we are regressing in any way, and they are not evidence that our manifestations aren't working or are on the wrong path. Negative thoughts exist because our brain is wired for survival. Our spirit is wired for joy and happiness. However, our brain, well, that is responsible for keeping us alive and getting us through this human experience, which aligns from an evolutionary perspective because our nervous system is designed to scan for danger, threat, rejection, loss, and pain. So when doubt shows up, or when fear creeps in, when anxiety starts just spinning out of control, that is our survival brain that is trying to protect us. Our mind is constantly asking questions like, what could go wrong? How do I stay safe? How do I avoid disappointment? How do I avoid embarrassment, failure, or rejection? And the flip side is, manifestation and abundant conscious creation require trust, faith, and emotional safety, which often feels very unfamiliar and unsettling to our nervous system. So when we step into opportunities of growth and expansion and abundance, our brain can sometimes interpret this as unsafe territory. And then suddenly the defense shields are activated and voila, the negative thoughts appear. And when these thoughts happen to show up, well, then depending on the situation, they can sometimes carry a lot of emotional force. Think about how much energy is behind anger or fear, anxiety, worry, jealousy, and frustration. When we are angry, it feels like a steady, intense stream of emotional energy. Yet, when we are happy, joy tends to come in like beautiful bursts, kind of like laughter, right? It rises and peaks and flows, and then it quiets for a bit, and then it just erupts again. And then there's gratitude, right? It expands, and then it softens, and it gets calm for a minute, and then it expands again. And peaceful emotions, well, they're just like gentle stabilizers that allow us a blissful sense of calm. And then, to the contrary, negative emotion often feels much louder and heavier and more forceful because it's tied directly to survival mechanisms. Or maybe better said, negative thoughts are often backed with more intense emotional charge. That emotional charge then just amplifies our vibration, and amplified vibration attracts energy faster. So yes, negative thought patterns can feel like they manifest quickly because they carry a significant amount of emotional momentum, not because they're stronger than our positive thoughts, but because they are fueled by fear-based survival energy. And when emotion of any kind is highly charged, manifestation is accelerated. And this is exactly why I say awareness is everything. And here is some refreshing information. One negative thought does not undo our manifestations. Even several negative days or even weeks don't cancel our abundance momentum. Manifestation is all about dominant emotional patterns over time and not momentary energetic fluctuations. So think of our vibration as if it were the ocean. One random wave doesn't change the entire tide. So it largely comes back to our dominant emotional state, our baseline frequency. That is what creates our reality. And as a quick reminder, in case you're wondering, as spiritual beings, we are all created from pure love and joy. That is our baseline frequency. So rather than panicking when negative thoughts show up, I'll tell you what I prefer to do. I move into the mode of being a conscious observer. I say to those negative thoughts, you know what? I see you. I hear you. I appreciate you wanting to protect me. And I choose not to become you. I choose faith that everything is happening for my highest good. This alone dissolves the vibrational power of emotion because it's neutralizing it. And we are also observing it. We are not embodying it. We are just aware of it. And that puts us in control, which is a very empowering feeling. And pulling the thread on awareness for just a second, try this. Instead of resisting negative thoughts, instead of shaming them, instead of trying to spiritually bypass them, perhaps apply this simple 3-step framework where we witness, process, and release the negativity. Okay, so step 1, awareness without judgment. The moment we notice a negative thought, simply say, "This is just a thought. It is not a truth." And then name it. Is it fear? Is it doubt, scarcity, anxiety, old programming? And all of this here is awareness because we see it, we acknowledge it for what it is, and we call it out. Awareness alone instantly reduces emotional charge. And then step 2, emotional permission. Instead of suppressing emotion, allow it to just move past you. Kind of like the Sedona method that we learned a little while ago. Say something like, "It's safe for me to feel this," or "I don't need to fight this emotion," because emotions that are felt will flow past us, and emotions that are resisted stay stuck, which is why we say what we resist persists, and that can build if we aren't careful, because the message we are sending is, universe, bring me more of what I am focused on. And as we have learned, the universe responds to where our attention and emotions are being held. All right. And then step 3 here is reframe through compassion. And it is here that we ask, what is this feeling trying to protect me from? Or what is it that my nervous system needs right now? And oftentimes the answers here are, I need to feel safety. I need reassurance. I need rest. I need some stillness and peace, or even I need some self-love. And this level of compassion will bring regulation back into our bodies, which instantly shifts our frequency to a better feeling state. So there you have it. 3 simple steps: awareness without judgment, emotional permission, and reframing through compassion. And now I also want to take a second to acknowledge that sometimes we are in a great space of joy, and then we walk into an environment or connect with a person or people who might be on a really low vibe frequency. And after being around them or immersed in the environment, we walk away feeling a whole lot less joyful. And then we begin to wonder, why is our once high-flying balloon suddenly feeling a bit deflated? And the best way I can explain it is this: we are all energetic beings. Our emotional frequency doesn't stay contained inside our bodies. In fact, it radiates outwards, which is exactly why one anxious person can shift the entire room, or one angry coworker can change the whole energy of the team. And on the flip side, it's also why one calm, grounded human can regulate an entire space, because energy is contagious. And I love when it is a high frequency energy. Honestly, I was chatting with a friend the other day, and she was sharing like a really exciting story, and she started kind of like jumping up and down, and then I was jumping up and down with her, and we were both just bursting out laughing because we caught ourselves practically hugging and literally jumping for joy. And I am always here for that kind of energy contagion, because you just can't deny it. And I hope that all of you have had experienced this type of joy before, because it is just so like electrifying and so exciting when you have this kind of high vibe energy exchange with others. I absolutely love it. And so along this theme of today's pod, I'll get back to this. Negative thoughts can carry their own kind of heavy emotion, and they can influence our relationships and our conversations and our environments and even our manifestations. But the opposite is also true. Our peace becomes our permission. Our joy becomes our healing, and our gratitude becomes our magnetic force for all sorts of incredible abundance. And, you know, it is no wonder that everything always comes back to gratitude. It's totally the antidote for negativity. And it can also be a very powerful reset tool when we are working through negative thoughts, because gratitude isn't bypassing negativity. As a matter of fact, gratitude is transmuting negativity. And so when we experience negative thoughts, be grateful and be curious, because maybe it's showing us that a certain limiting belief is ready to be healed, or it is highlighting that a boundary really needs to be strengthened. And it can even be that there's a fear that's asking for a little bit of compassion. And the beauty here is when we practice gratitude for negative thoughts and emotions, we are aware of them, we are not resisting them, and we are allowing them to flow through us so that they can be released, which means as a result, our fear moves into trust, and our sense of scarcity moves into abundance, and the tension we might have felt, it moves into flow. And so I will share a little message that I tend to say to myself when I'm experiencing negativity on the spot. It is something that I fall back on, and it goes something like this. Thank you for showing me what needs healing. I release this thought with love. I choose peace, I choose alignment, I choose joy. And I am grateful for the love of the universe, God, source, divine, or whatever term you want to insert here. I am grateful for the love of the universe and knowing that everything is always happening for my highest good. And then I get really excited and I feel lots of joy and I become curious because I fill with a whole lot of wonder about what this experience is going to lead me to. What fantastic destination am I traveling toward? And what is the exciting story I am going to get to tell when my manifestation journey is successfully accomplished? And trust me, this alone will shift our frequency and will put a stop to the negative thoughts. It will calm the nervous system because we are focused on being and feeling happy, not afraid, not surviving, more like happy and thriving. It sounds like Dr. Seuss, but it's true. Happy and thriving. And so there we are, right? Negative thoughts. They are part of being human and they happen to the best of us. However, it is how we choose to navigate them that can make all the difference in the world, or should I say, all the difference in the universe. And so let's be aware and let's be grateful because negative thoughts show us where healing is happening and they show us where expansion is occurring too. And so when they show up, we are not starting our high vibe manifestation over. Rather, we are integrating the lessons that the negative thoughts are teaching us, which means whenever we observe fear, let's consciously choose love. When we witness the feeling of doubt, let's choose trust and faith. And whenever we find ourselves in a space of discomfort, let's choose compassion. And by simply applying this awareness, we are restoring our vibration back to its natural state of joy. And yeah, before we wrap up today's episode, I had a little exercise here in my notes that I was going to share. And then I thought maybe another time. But you know what? I am going to share it really quick because I'm going to be honest. I have been trying to create this outline for several weeks so that I could make it into a podcast episode. But every time I did, I found myself chasing a negative thought. And then I would choose a better feeling topic and move right along. Yet I kept thinking, this is a very human topic. And I wanted to share it because I too used to think that one negative day or week or fleeting thought was my manifestation undoing, which we all now know is totally not true. So within all of this, I created a little technique that I use when either setting up my vibe for the day or resetting my vibe during the day or even at the end of my day. So this is what I do, and it literally takes 5 minutes. And I'm going to posture this as a morning routine, but again, I use it anywhere in my day. Okay, so for the first minute, before engaging any devices, tuning into the news, or sorting through activities of the day ahead, place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and take 3 deep breaths through your nose for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6, and do this 3 times. And as you're doing it, say silently to yourself, I am safe. I am present. And then the next minute, think of 3 things you are grateful for and keep it simple. It could be your bed, the air in your lungs, someone you love, the sunshine, your home, your body, your fur baby. And as you think of each one, feel it in your heart and say, Thank you. More of this, please. And then minute number 3. Intentionally set your vibration for the day. Say out loud or silently to yourself something like, today I choose to live in joy. Today I choose peace over pressure. Today I choose trust and faith over fear. Today I move through life with ease, flow, and alignment. And then finish with, everything I desire is aligning and unfolding for me. Thank you. And I'm going to say I do this because it reminds my brain that it is safe to expect good things. And then for minute number 4, visualize moving through a successful day with confidence and see yourself smiling, feeling supported, feeling loved, feeling light and open, and feeling valued. And notice I say feeling because emotions are supercharged through thoughts. So feel gratitude and excitement and peace and relief and joy when visualizing your abundant day. And then lastly, minute number 5, gently message to yourself, I release any fear, doubt, heaviness, or resistance. My energy is protected, my vibration is high, and my heart is open to everything that serves my highest good. And so it is. Thank you. And that's it. That's the very simple 5-minute moment. You can use this to just calm the nervous system, lower stress hormones like cortisol, and raise those feel-good hormones like dopamine and serotonin. And most importantly, it reinforces and supports our dominant emotional frequency of joy. And remember, a high vibe life is not about never feeling negative emotions. It's about moving through them consciously and applying them as a tool that is working in our favor, because we all deserve a life filled with joy, ease, abundance, peace, love, and fulfillment. And to insert an original quote from yours truly this week, this is what I'm going to say. The more grace we offer ourselves in the shadows, the brighter our light becomes, because we transform our pain into wisdom, our fear into faith, and our struggle into radiance. And that is a wrap for this week. Oh my goodness, isn't this amazing? Even negative thoughts can feel like a win. At least that's what I'm currently feeling after recording this episode. And I hope that you are feeling this too and found this to be helpful and applicable to your world. And if you did, well then please do your girl a solid and share this episode with a friend, perhaps rate, follow, and even just take a few seconds to give me a review. This helps me out so much and in so many ways, and I'm always grateful, so grateful when I receive feedback from all of you. You know, you can DM me on Instagram. I'm at JoyFilledUniverse, and you can even send me a text from that link in the show description, or just simply leave me a review. All of this is appreciated, and thank you. And on that note, I am your host, Lisa Ryan. This is the Joy Filled Universe podcast, where we explore all the tools and tricks that are going to make your universe even more joyful than it already is. And I will see you next week. Bye.